This is a Ryobi electric riding lawnmower, and when I first bought it, it came with stupid lead acid batteries that of course died in no time at all. You have to maintain them, keep them always plugged in. If you use the mower too much, you damage them. It was bad. So several summers ago, I replaced them with lithium batteries that were the equal size and dimensions, and it was a 4-for-4 swap. It's a complicated install, and you have to do some complicated wiring, and then you need to go buy a charger, and if you want a new digital gauge, and I followed up with videos about doing that as well. And I have no regrets. They've worked great all these summers. But there have been some problems for some people, like the batteries can't always handle the amount of current needed to start the mower. A company named DIGI Marker reached out and sent me this single battery that, one, can handle these Ryobi lawnmowers perfectly, and two, is supposed to be an incredibly easy install. Spoiler alert, I already tried it and it is. And even better, it comes with the charger and a gauge. So it's everything you need in one package for about $1,000, which is a little expensive, I admit. But for the ease of install and the fact that everything just works, I think might be worth the price. I'm going to show you how it installs today, and then we're going to give it a quick test drive once we're done. Let's get started. And to get started, you're actually going to go straight to this seat and move it up. So first things first, you're going to lift up this chair, and I'm going to remind you, by the way, that I am not an electrician and you're following this guide at your own risk. And we're going to disconnect this cable right here. This is the seat sensor that makes a beep if you get off the seat. It's just a push down on this and then a pull. Make sure you are unplugged, by the way. And then you will push on these tabs and pull this cover up. Now, because I've done this before and I've already swapped out for lithium batteries, this inside is going to look a little different. If you notice things look different, check that we're doing the same model. I have the Ryobi R148111 model. But second, go ahead and look at my original video where I did all this, and then that will look a lot more stock. You're going to find this bolt in here and take it out. I've loosened mine some just to speed things along. It will probably be through this assembly, and that's fine. It is long. There's only threads here at the bottom though, so it shouldn't take too much. And you're going to disconnect this cabling here. This is the electricity to everything. It's important that we start there as well. Next, we're going to take the back off the Ryobi lawnmower. There are several screws, one here, 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 and here. They are in a star-shaped style. Let's see if we can get a focus on that. Star-shaped style bit that you will need. I'm using an iFixit kit just because I like iFixit a lot. They're not sponsoring this content at all. So we'll just take this one off. And then this whole back will just kind of pop off. Now at this point, I do recommend you check out my original video. If you're still on the lead acid batteries, they are extremely heavy. You want to be careful getting them out. And you're going to want to check out the wiring process for there, because my batteries look very different now that I've installed lithium and a digital gauge. But you'll pull out these two bolts down here at the bottom, and you need varying different sizes. That's why I've got these different on here right now. You'll need to reach underneath, I almost forgot, because there's a bolt holding it in place. I've still got mine loosened to make this easier. So you bolt from underneath, bolt from underneath. Don't lose your washers. You're going to need these back. Keep everything in place. Now you'll pull this entire tray out. You're going to need something to balance the batteries on. I'm using a tire jack. I actually recommend something a little more sturdy than this. Otherwise, you might have an accident with the lead acid batteries like I did. Pull straight back. You want to check up through the seat as you're pulling back to make sure you're not getting caught on anything. Even with lithium, this is pretty heavy. And then you're going to disconnect the current batteries. Again, if you have lead acid, go back to my original video and watch how that is done there, because they will be wired different than what you're seeing right here. The main thing to note is that you're always going to start with the main battery pack's negative first and work your way around till the main battery pack's positive first. The main battery pack negative and positive are the terminals that are leading directly to the mower's wiring, this thing that you just disconnected, in other words. Yeah, and see how I almost lost this? Don't use a little thing like I'm using. I've already removed this negative, and this negative, and this negative. Now we'll do the positives. This unit is just something for my current digital gauge that I have in place for my lithium system right now. If you don't see this in your lead acid battery, that is normal and to be expected. Don't worry about it. And now for what's been the historically tricky part, remove the batteries. And there it went. This is why you wanted something a little more sturdy than this tire and this car lift that I'm using. And now we're going to have to make some decisions because the new battery is much smaller than the space that was required for the 4 batteries. Thankfully, the new battery has handles. So I'm gonna put mine about there because I also intend to put the charger in here as well. Not on top, but I'm gonna strap both down. Okay, so off camera, I've strapped these things mostly in place. I'm making sure the big handles are off to the side. My hooks are kind of close here, so I have plenty of clearance in. And I've strapped this charger in place as well. My plan is to actually make this plug accessible with an attachment that's come with this. We'll talk more about that later. I've also repositioned the battery so that all my connections are here, because with the battery this far over, they're not gonna be possible to reach if they're on this side. That's my recommendation. You'll notice several ports right here. These are for connecting the mower's electronics. The button that you use to turn this battery on and off, it goes into a deep sleep so that the digital gauge doesn't drain the battery, and the digital gauge itself. We're gonna start with connecting the power system. This is for the mower system itself that we pulled off of it, and this is for the charger system that comes with this guy right here. This end will plug into this. So we're gonna start with connecting the cables. I'm grabbing a couple of bolts that actually came with the DIGI system. And I'm going to go ahead and connect up the charger to the battery as well. And then this is our new digital gauge. I'm going to go ahead and connect that. You'll want to pay attention to the fact that there's 2 little cables right here. These will connect up to the button that came with the system. That button is necessary to turn on the battery when it goes into deep sleep. We're going to have to install that button as well. This end, over here, just seals in. And then we're going to carefully slide everything in. I've got a little bit of hook underneath here from the strapping system, so I'll have to lift up slightly when I go in. Likewise, inside is the wiring system. The other half of this, you're going to want to make sure you don't get caught as you're going in. So now you're going to reach in and find the Anderson plugs from earlier, the one that we just connected to the battery and the one that goes to the mower system, and you're just going to slide them together. You're going to reach in and grab the other end of this cord, connect them together, and now we'll deal with the digital gauge. I currently have a newer digital gauge than what you have. If you haven't installed one previously, you may want to check out my video, but we'll start by removing all these screws right here. Don't lose these, you're gonna need them later. See, don't lose it. And once you've removed all that, this will lift right up. There will be a bar here that will have screws, and you'll see that in my original video. You'll need to remove the screws, and then this will be able to come out. And you'll be able to pull the cord through since it's now loose. Or if you haven't ever done this before, you'll need to disconnect it. Okay, so I've done one thing in the slightly wrong order. Easy fix though. I should have waited to connect the other end of this cable. So now I've got a rat's nest, and it's much too tight to fit the thing through. So I'm going to reach in, unscrew. The other thing we need to talk about is this hole. The new gauge is going to be far too big for the hole if you haven't ever replaced this before. You have multiple options. You can get a step bit, and that'll be really difficult because this is metal and flimsy. Or you can get a carbide tip on a drill and just go round and round and round, checking every so often. Same thing with sandpaper until it fits. This even comes with a little template that you can lay over here and kind of get an idea of how close you are. But you're just gonna have to widen this hole until this guy fits. We're gonna take these little screws off. Don't lose them. Feed the cable through. Keep track of these extra wires here. We need those for the button, remember. Place this bar back on, and it's basically a pressure fit at this point. Find the other bolt that you inevitably lost, like I did. And then we're gonna feed this cable through. There is a hole right through here that'll lead you back into here. This cable is super long, which is good for other things like golf carts, but not so much for this. And then we'll plug this one back in where it was. Feed the rest of the cords in. If you want to be fancy, you go in and zip tie this all down and make it look nice and neat. I'm probably going to do that at a later date. This is the template you can use if you want. And DigiMark did include extra bolts in case you drop one, which I did. And this is the button that I almost dropped. We're going to connect it to this wire by slipping these into the hole and then turning the screws to seal them. Before I do that though, I needed to figure out where I'm going to install this. I thought about installing it here, right next to where the gauge is and so forth, but I don't think I want to do that because this is metal and it is a pain in the butt to drill through. After some discussion with my better half, we decided to put the button in the side here, which is still plastic. I'm going to use this Forstner bit that's fairly small. I think it might be just a bit too large, but if so, I'll use a washer to kind of settle this out. I just need to look in here to find, yeah, you want to make sure you don't go too far this way where it turns metal, or turns too far this way where it turns metal again. It's plastic through here. I'm just going to give it a go. Always be careful you don't take out your own hand. And while I'm at it, I'll use that to help me not lose this. So I'm going to pass this through here. Pass this through here. Connect them up to these. It shouldn't matter which direction they go. Grab a screwdriver for the world's tiniest screws. Fair warning, the screws on this button, I'm going to tighten, have very little room for play. If you loosen too much, you're going to lose them and you'll never get them back. So we're just going to pass the wires through the holes and tighten the screws to lock them in place. Pass the button through, run the nut, bolt, I never know what the right term is when I'm on camera. Tighten everything up. I'm going to straighten this up a bit, I think. It just annoys me that it's not straight. Quick test. See if it even turns on. Yep. Good sign that we got our 63% battery. That was our click. Yeah. We're going to put everything back together real quick. Starting with these screws here. And you'll know you need to press the side button if the gauge has gone away. Uh-oh, I lost a couple clips. That's on me. You gotta watch that these clips don't fall out. I'll have to find them in here in a second and put them back. Now you're probably wondering, why did I lock this charger in here, hook everything up, and leave the extension, the regular 3-prong here on the end, that doesn't seem great. And I agree, except they were kind enough, DIGI Marker was kind enough to include this connector right here. And on this outside is yet one more 3-prong. So you can plug this in, of course, and then plug in your extension cord next to it. Up here, we have this connector we can no longer use with this system. So my thought process is, if we take these screws out and pull this out, this may fit pretty well into here. And then instead of having a charger that you always have to pay attention to, and what are we going to do with this? It's stored away, and when you want to plug in your mower, just take your extension cord and put it here. Let's see if we can't make it work. Oh, these are hard to break. These go into here. So the Anderson connectors that you connected the battery to the mower with have a blue connection point with these. I just pulled that out. Now we're going to see how well this fits. Yeah, a real good push. And I think I can just drill some screws directly through and force it to stay in place. Let's find out. DIGI Marker even included some screws for this. Helpful as always. I'm just going to actually try and drill right into the plastic, see if I can't make it solid. Yeah, this is going to work. And so now we take the plug from the charger, plug it into the other end of this. I will probably remove this in the end because it's not necessary with this cover as well, but it closes up perfectly. And now instead of having to keep track of this charger in here that we've strapped into here, just grab your extension cord from the wall, plug it in, and you're charging your mower. I like it. I like it a lot. Now we just have to put the back on. Don't forget about the 2 bolts that go down here. That's going to be the first thing you want to do because that's what locks this tray in place. As we go to attach the back, I want you to pay attention, make sure you're watching for these clips. They are what makes this screw work. Okay, so I did have one slight crimp in my plans. There's something about the wiring of all this that is necessary for this to turn on. I'm guessing it's part of the interlock system that keeps you from driving away while you're plugged in and so forth. So I reconnected here, and I reconnected this blue wire down here. See if I can't get a better view for you. And I reconnected this blue wire that goes into the main electric system. I will zip tie that in place so it's not flopping around and tuck it away. And then everything should work after that. We're just going to push this back in place. Put my screwdrivers, put my seat down. And hey, we're good to go again. Let's test drive it around. So yeah, it works pretty well. I think overall, good little system. I'll leave all the links and everything you need down below. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll check out the comments later. Until next time, bye.